Good morning, all. Today, I'm discussing about PET. So already CPM is over. How you are to find out CPM? So CPM is also part of the PET. Okay. So with the use of CPM only, we are completing the PET problem. So PET means program evaluation or project evaluation and review technique. Whether it is a program or program or project. So you have to use simultaneously. So PET is one of the standard methods of network analysis. So this PET technique is nothing but one of the network analysis methods. That is standard method. So one of the standard methods. So many other things are there. So traveling sessions problem like this. So PET method is a generalization of the critical path method. Okay. So PET is nothing but it is a generalization of the CPM. That is a critical path method. That was developed by the US Navy for the planning and control of the Polaris missile program in 1958. Okay, so Polaris missile program. So for that purpose, US Navy is planning and controlling of the Polaris missile program in 1958. So the US Navy is planning to uh, develop Polaris missile. For that purpose, they are using the PET technique in 1958. So it worked well in expediting the completion of the project from 7 years to 5 years. So the total program is completed in the 17 years to 5 years. From 7 years to 5 years. That means they are saving 2 years. Since then, PET has become very popular technique used for project planning and control. So after that, it is also used for general things also in the management. So very popular. It will become very popular. The technique studies and represents the tasks undertaken to complete a project. Okay, this technique is studies and represents the tasks undertaken to complete a project. So, suppose if you are undertaking a project, then you have to complete within the time. So, to identify the least time for completing a task and also minimum time required to complete the whole project. Okay, so in the PET technique, you have to know to identify the least time for completing a task. First purpose is you have to identify the least time. So that means at minimum time for completion of a task, how much time it will take. That is the minimum time which will be taken to complete the task, and the minimum time required to complete the whole project. And after that, you have to find out the minimum time to complete the whole project. Okay, both you have to know. So it is aimed to reduce the time and cost of the project. For what purpose you have to use this PET is, so you have to reduce the time and cost of the project. Okay, so this is a simple introduction about PET. Then in this technique, first of all, the project is divided into activities and events. So in the PET, we have to divide the total project into events and activities. After that, proper sequence is ascertained. After that, we have to arrange them into a proper sequence. And a network is constructed. After that, we have to construct the network with the events and activities. Okay, so after that time needed in each activity is calculated on the critical path. That means the longest path connecting all the events is determined. After that, we have to find out the critical path. That means the longest path to connecting all the events and reaching to end event. Then the main object of the analysis through PET is to find out the completion for a particular event within specified date. Okay, so the main objective is of the analysis, objective of the analysis through PET is to find out the completion for a particular event. So we are completing the particular event within the time or not, within the specified time or not. Okay, that means within the specified date or not. Okay, so suppose they are giving some 10 days of time, then you are completing the task into 10 days or not. Then you have to identify that. Then is there any chances or not? Okay, so we are completing within that date where you have that is there any chance to complete that job within that specified date or not. So you have to, you are getting answer for this. This approach takes into account uncertainties. Okay, so this approach takes into account uncertainties. Okay, so Suppose is there any uncertainty, then we are answering for that uncertainties. We are removing that uncertainties. So we are knowing the time. Suppose the exact uh, days, how many days it will be taken. So then there is no chance of uncertainty. So in this approach, 3 time values are estimated with each activity. So each activity, there is some time estimates are there. There are 3 types of time estimates are there. One is optimistic time, second one is most likely time, and pessimistic time. Okay. So there are 3 types of times: optimistic, most likely, pessimistic. So the 3 time values provide a measure of uncertainty associated with that activity. Okay. So with these 3 time values, we are provided a measure of uncertainty associated with that activity. So we are measuring the uncertainty uh, in the activity. So first one is optimistic time. So it is the shortest possible time in which the activity can be finished and assumes that everything goes very well. So that means what is the minimum shortest possible time for finishing that activity, that will be called as optimistic time. Okay, that is the shortest possible time to finishing the activity. So it is denoted by TO, T suffix O or A. Okay, so that means that everything is goes well. Okay, so basic assumption is everything is goes very well. Then after that, most likely time. So this is estimate of the normal time the activity would take. So the normal time. So suppose what time that is allotted. Suppose is allotted for that, it will takes that. So then this assumes normal delays. In this also there is some normal delays are there. So it is denoted by TM or M. Okay, so it is denoted by TM or M. That means TM means most likely time. Then pessimistic time. Okay, the third one is pessimistic time. So pessimistic time means the longest time the activity could take if everything goes wrong. Okay, so the longest, and that means it will take we are assuming the longest time, how much time the activity is taken. So that means if everything goes wrong, so suppose is there an unnecessary delays or unwanted delays or something are there. So it is the longest time the activity can conceivably take. Okay, so it is the longest time the activity can conceivably take. Okay, so the longest time. This is generally denoted by TP or B. Okay, so it is generally denoted by TP. Okay, so TO, TM, TP. So then after that, expected time. Okay, so expected time means that is mean. Okay, so this is the average time an activity will take if it is to be repeated large number of times and is based on the assumption that the activity time follows beta distribution. Okay, so according to the beta distribution, you have to average the 3 time estimates: optimistic time and most likely time and pessimistic time. Then you are getting the mean time, that is nothing but expected time. Okay, so then how you calculate this expected time? There is a formula for this. Okay, so this is the formula for TE. Then we are calculating the TE, that means expected time. So TE equal to TO plus 4TM plus TP by 6, or A plus 4M by 4M plus B by 6. Suppose if we are indicating TO with A and TP with B, then we are using A plus 4M plus B by 6. Okay, so in general we are following this one, TO plus 4TM plus TP by 6 in common denotation. Then after that, variance of each activity is given by formula. So after that, you have to find out the variance of each activity. Then sigma square equal to TP. So pessimistic time minus TE. Okay, by 6. Sorry, TO. This is TO. TP minus TO by 6. Okay, so where TO means A and where TP means B and TM means M are optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely times respectively. Okay, so that is this is the formula: B minus A by 6 whole square, where B stands for TP and A stands for TO. So then TP minus TO by 6, that is also right. Or then you have to indicate alternatively B minus A by 6. Just you have to eliminate these two in general. So then you are using only these formulas: TO plus 4TM plus TP by 6 and TP minus TO by 6 whole square. Okay. So then you are using these two formulas. These are very, very important formulas. Just you have to remember this. Okay. Then Then now we are discussing about the PET algorithm. So how we are using this PET, how we are solve this problem. So then PET algorithm, the various steps involved in the PET network for analyzing any project are summarized below. Suppose if you are doing a PET problem, then there is common procedure for that. So this is nothing but a PET algorithm, how to solve the PET problem. So there are some steps are there. Then you have to follow this. So then you have to solve any PET problem. Then first you have to follow these rules. Okay. So these rules are very important. So develop a list of activities involved in the project, including the immediate predecessors. Okay. So develop a list of activities involved in the project, including the immediate predecessors. First, you have to involve the project, develop a list of activities. First, you have to develop a list of activities involved in the project. Okay. So including the immediate predecessor. Okay. So first we have to identify the total list of the activities in the project. Then second one is draw the network diagram using the rules and conventions. So already we are discussing about what are the rules in the construction of a network diagram. Then you have to follow the rules and you have to draw the network diagram. That is the second step. Then after that, third step, number the events in ascending order from left to right. So after that, you are giving the numbers to the events according to the ascending order from left to right. Okay. So how we are giving the numbers? So then I show you an example. So then like this. Okay. So this is an event. So this is an event. So after that, this is an activity. Okay. So with mouse, it is some problem is there. Okay. So this is another event, and this is another activity, and this is another event like this. Okay. So then you are giving the numbers for the events. Number one, this is second event, and this is the third event. Okay, like this. So from left to right, ascending order. Okay. So from the 3-time estimates, compute the expected time for each activity using this formula TO plus 4TM plus TP by 6. So after that, for each and every activity, we are computing the TE value. So sometimes they are giving the time, suppose they are giving only single time, that is TE, they are directly giving TE value. So in some problems, they are directly giving TE value. In some problems, they are giving this TO, TM, TP. That means optimistic time, most likely time, and pessimistic time. They are giving 3 times. So suppose in the problem, they are giving these 3 times. What are that? TO. 4 means you have to multiply it with 4. Okay. So TM, so TP. Okay. So like this. So using the expected activity time estimates, determine the earliest start time and earliest finish time of each activity. Then after that, you have to find out earliest start time and also earliest finish time for each and every activity. Okay. Then next step is compute the latest start time and the latest finish time and the float associated with each activity. Find the activities with zero total float, which are known as critical activities. Okay. So then after that, compute the latest start time and latest finish time. Okay. So latest finish time and the float associated with each activity. Okay. So after that, you have to find out the latest time and also latest finishing time and latest start time. Okay. So then the float associated with each activity, then there is a float because there is a difference in between the start time and the finish time. So find the activities with zero total float, which are known as critical activities. Those who are having the zero float that are treated as critical activities. Okay. So suppose if I find out the values of LST and LFT, then after that, is there any difference in between suppose then that is called as float. Okay. Suppose we are already we are discussing the type of floats. Total float is 0, total float is negative, total float is positive. Okay, there are three values are there. Okay, total float negative, total float positive, total float 0. Suppose if you are getting the total float value is 0, then it will be treated as a critical activity. That means these are the activities are in the critical path. Okay, so those which are the activities are in the critical path that are having the 0 total float. Okay, so very important point. Then after that, using the value for TP and TO, calculate the variance by using the formula. So TP minus TO by 6 whole square. That is the formula. So use this formula, then you are find out the variance. Then after that, use the variability in the activity times to estimate the variability of the project completion date. Using this estimate, compute the probability of meeting a specified date by using the standard normal equation. After that, so you have to find out the probability. So whether you have to complete the project within the time or not, then you have to find out the probability of that project. So whether it is completed or not in that particular time. So that is called as Z. So it is that is a standard normal variate. Okay, so standard normal variate. So that is the due date. That means what are the time? What is the time given by the client? That means project time, completion time. What is suppose the project? Suppose if you are undertake a project from some company, some other company, then they are giving some time to you. Okay, so that time is due date. So minus expected date of completion. So that means we are expecting some completion date. We are getting the some expectation value, that is the critical value. So then divided by project variance. Okay, so this is the variance. Okay, root of variance. Okay, so where Z is a standard normal deviate. So these are the steps involved in the solving a PERT problem. So then you have to follow these steps, then we are solve this problem. Okay, so then suppose the Z values, how we are taking the Z values. So then suppose if you are getting some value after calculation of suppose if you are substituting some of the values in this formula, then you are getting the Z value. Okay, so according to the Z value, you have to get the probability. Suppose if you are getting a positive Z value, then you take these values. Okay, suppose if you are getting some negative Z value, okay, some negative value in the Z, then you have to use these values. Okay, suppose if you are getting a positive value, then you have to take these values. And suppose if you are getting some negative values, then you are using this one. This table is very important. Okay, so suppose if you are getting a 0, that is the 50% probability. Z value is 0, that is 50% probability. Suppose the Z value is 0.2, then probability is 57.9. Suppose the Z value is 0.4, 65.5. Suppose the Z value is 0.6, 72.6. Suppose the Z value is 0.8, 78.8 is the probability. Like this negative values also. So up to 3.0, the table values are given. So maximum you are getting the Z value in between 0 to 3 in normal problems. So you don't bother about this. Okay, so right. Then after that, PERT technique offers the following advantages. What are the advantages are related to PERT? So it determines the expected time required for completing each activity. So it is suppose if I determine the expected time is required for completing each activity, for each and every activity, how much time it will take completing this activity, that then you have to determine it. Then second one is it helps complete the project within a given period of time. Okay, so it helps complete the project within a given period of time. So if suppose they are giving some period of time, then you have to complete the project within a given period of time. Okay, that is the second one. Then third one, it helps management uncertainties involved in the project and thus reduce the risk element in the project. Okay, so it helps the management uncertainties, okay, involved in the project and thus reduce the risk element in the project. Okay, so we are eliminating the uncertainties in the project, and we have to reduce the risk element of the project also. Then after that, fourth one is it enables management to make optimum allocation of limited resources. Suppose resources are always limited, then it is there is a chance to allocate the resources at optimum level. Then this helps to management. Okay, so then it presses for the right action at the right point and at the right time in the organization. Okay, so and also uh, the organization always in the right action and also right point at the right time in the organization. Everything will be in the right direction. Right action, right point, and at the right time. So everything is going on correct way. So then next one is what are the limitations in the PET? So there is some problems is also there. So PET network is mainly based on time estimates required for each activity. So it is completely based on 3 time estimates, more pessimistic, optimistic, and most likely. On account of wrong time estimates, suppose if there are any wrong time estimates, the network is bound to become highly unrealistic. Suppose if what you are after that you have to construct a network diagram, that will be unrealistic. You are not getting the exact value. Then second one is this technique is also does not consider the resources required at different stages of the project. Okay, after that, this technique is also does not consider the resources required at a different stages of the project. Okay, so at different levels there is a need of some resources, but it is not considered these requirements. Okay, so this is about limitations of the PET. Okay, then now we are seeing some example of the how to construct a network diagram in the PET. So some step-by-step evaluation. So this is a sample one where it is not a complete problem. First you have to know about how to construct a network diagram. First you have to know, all of you know, how we are constructing a network diagram. Just I am showing a simple example. Okay, so example of network diagram is there are activity and predecessor activity. Okay, they are not giving any values, just we are drawing a sample network. It is not a complete problem, just remind it. Okay, so then activity A, B, there is an activity A, B, C, comma D, and E, F, G. Okay, so these are the activities. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so for A, there is no predecessor activity. For B, there is A is a predecessor activity, and C, comma D, there is a B predecessor activity. For E, there is a C predecessor activity. For F, there is a D predecessor activity. For G, there is a E and F is a predecessor activity. So these are the activities. Okay. So activity and predecessor activity. So activity A has no predecessor activity, that is, it is the first activity. Then A is the first activity because it does not have any predecessor activity. That's why. Okay. Then, okay. So there is a predecessor activity. Then, then 1 minute. Okay. So this is an activity. So suppose before A there is an activity. That's why we are starting with the first event. So the number, this is the first event and this is the second event. So one is the first event and second is the, suppose this is the predecessor event. This is the successor event. Then in between there is an activity A. Okay, for the first one it is completed. Then second one, so for activity B, okay, so for activity B, so for activity B, the predecessor activity is A. Okay, so for B activity, there is a predecessor activity, that is A. Okay, let us suppose that B joins nodes 2 and 3, thus we get. Okay, so this is already this is the first step. Then second step, then from A, there is a predecessor, there is a successor activity B. So then there is another, so we are taking another event 3. We are giving number 3, so ascending order. So there is an activity B. Okay, so then activities C and D have B as a predecessor. So then you have to see the problem. So for C and D, there is a common predecessor activity B. Then how we are constructing then how to draw the network. So just then after that we are eliminating this one, so because of the space purpose. So then it shows in the diagram. So activity C and D have the B as a predecessor activity. So how we are draw this network diagram. So this is the 2 and 3. This is the B activity. From B activity, there is a two activities are there, successor activities. So for C and D, there is a common activity. B is the predecessor activity. Okay, then you have to take the two different events from 3, that is 4 and 5, then named it as C and D, these two activities. Okay, then in the problem up to this one is completed, first 3 are completed. Then now from suppose for the activity E, there is a predecessor activity C. Okay, then you have to see this one. Then so this is the C activity. From C activity, there is a successor activity E. Okay, then you are how to construct this. So there is 3 and 4. So then we have to take this part only. Okay, so then we are taking this part only. Okay, so 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, because we are constructing, we are drawing only for E. So then I am showing that purpose only. Then this is the 6. Then from 4th event, there is a 6th event. After that, then we are named it as E. Okay, so after that, in the problem, then from suppose the for F activity up to this one is completed. For F activity, there is a success predecessor activity is D. From D, we are drawing the F activity. Okay, so this is the D. Then you have to take another event. Okay, so like this. Okay, then you have to construct like this. Okay, so another activity, that is 5. Then you are connecting with the 6. Okay, so there is 6th activity. Okay, then another last one, E and F. So E and F are predecessor activities, and we are drawing G. So E and F, where are E and F? These are the two activities, E and F. Then are connecting with each other. Then you have to take another event. So like this. Okay, so how you draw this? Suppose how you draw this? Okay, so E and F, from E and F, there is an activity, there is another activity. Okay, so like this, because you are using straight one, then this is another thing, that is E and F, that is G. Okay, so then in this way you are completing this network. Okay, so then after that you have to see total diagram, then you are able to understand. Okay, so then after that we are constructing like this. So from E and F, there is a J activity. So there is a 7th activity, that is the end event. So like this, the total diagram is like this. So for B, there is a predecessor activity A, and for C and E, C and D, there is a predecessor activity B. Okay, so after that, the E is the for E, there is a predecessor activity C, and for F, there is a predecessor activity D. Then for G, there is a predecessor activity C and F. Then you have to combine each of them. Then finally, you are constructing, we draw the activity from 6 to 7. The name of that activity is G. Then the starting event is 1 and end event is the 7. Okay, so in simple manner, then I construct this diagram wholly for your understanding purpose. Please monitor. Okay, so please observe. Okay, so then again I show it. The whole diagram is drawn here. So just see it. Okay, so don't confuse. So for A, there is no predecessor activity. So like this. So this is first event, and this is the second event. then named it as A. So just don't see the neatness of the diagram. Just you have to observe how to construct the diagram. The next one, for B activity, there is a predecessor activity A. So this is the B activity. Okay. So then the number of this activity is 3. Then for B, sorry, next for C and D, there is a predecessor activity B. Okay. So for both of activities are common. So they are the predecessor activity is B. So this is the C and this is the D. Okay. There are two different activities are there, and 4 and different event, and number it as 5. Okay. So then after that, from C there is an activity E. Okay. So this is the E activity. Then sixth, this is the sixth one. Then after that, from D there is an activity F. Okay. So this is the D activity. After that, you have to take it named it as F. Then after that, from E and F, there is an activity G. So these are the E and F. Then this is named it as G. Then this is the seventh activity. Okay. Seventh event. Okay. So this is the starting point and this is the ending point. Okay. So like this, you have to construct the network diagram in an easiest manner. Okay. So very simple. So suppose if you are perfectly draw the network diagram, then you are getting the exact answer. Don't worry. Okay. Only the problem is you are constructing the diagram in a correct manner. Okay. So then you have to follow the rules. Then there is no any dangler. Then there is no any looping or any suppose you are not unnecessarily using a dummy activity. Okay. And also there is no crossings of the activities, and there is no looping. That means you are not curved activities. Then you have to follow all the rules while you are constructing the network diagram. Then it is correct. Okay. So this is the simple construction of a network diagram. Okay, I think all of you able to understand this one. So in tomorrow's class, I am showing complete example of the PET with example this one. Okay, so then you are able to solve the problem. Okay, so I show you a complete problem. Okay, in tomorrow's class. Okay, don't miss. So very simple. So I think all of you understand this one. Okay. Okay, right. That's it.